Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on whenever you tune in. But welcome to the show. This is TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray. I publish the Durham Skywriter practically every Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern. I do this half-hour show where I introduce you to really cool people from not only Durham, but from around the world, but today from Durham. So we're going to be talking about health with Malinda Evans from Party of One. Welcome to the show, Ms. Evans. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me on the show.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Very happy to have you here. Now, I talked about health last week, and we're talking about it again this week because a lot of people say you don't have a whole lot if you don't have your health.
And that's the truth.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about exercise, fitness, and line dancing. But first, why don't you tell us about Party of One, how you started it, and whether it's a 501c3?
Party of One is a 501c3. I started teaching line dancing in 2012 and decided I wanted to actually start it as a nonprofit organization. So I started that process and received nonprofit status in July of 2013. And the purpose of me doing this program was to help people who want to exercise but might not necessarily like going to the gym or walking or doing something in isolation, or other forms of dancing you might require a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do something where people could get exercise and have fun at the same time.
Okay. So line dancing can actually be an exercise.
Yes, it can.
Because to me, it definitely looks like a fun social activity. That's another good
Uh,
thing.
it's that too. I've made connections with people socially. I started line dancing myself in 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still friends to this day. We travel together, go out to eat, so it's a good
Right.
connection to meet people also.
Now, when did you start actually seeing line dancing as something more than just having fun with friends?
I guess I started seeing it. Um, I don't know. I grew up dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I took hip hop dance and African dance. So I guess I always thought it was fun. But
Mm-hmm.
actual exercise, I would say uh, maybe 2011, 2013. I was like, okay, if I group this amount of songs together in this order, I
Mm-hmm.
can do it as an exercise routine for myself.
Okay.
So I said, well, okay, I like it. So maybe if I start doing it with other people, they will like it too.
Okay. Do you get real technical with it? I know some people talk about heart rates and beats per minute, and this song has 98 and this one has 102. Do you pay attention to all that?
You know, I mean, I I do it myself. Sometimes you'll see me wearing my heart rate monitor or something to class.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as other people that come, if you have one, wear it. If you don't, no problem, because you are burning calories. I monitor myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
can say, depends on how I put the program together. My class is like an hour. I burn as much as 700 calories in an hour.
Wow.
Depends on how I stack the class. Yeah, you're
This
gonna
might
burn
be
calories.
this might be a weird question, but
Mm-hmm.
do different people burn calories at different rates? Does that depend on what you eat?
It depends on your weight. So people
Oh,
that are heavier tend to burn more calories if you put more energy into it.
okay,
People
okay.
who are kind of more in shape, if you're doing a more rigorous exercise, sometimes it takes them more effort
Mm-hmm.
to burn the same amount of calories maybe as somebody that's heavier.
Hmm.
So it just depends on you, because I know when I first started out, there was some moves and stuff I just was not going to do. So that took a couple of
Mm-hmm.
calorie
Yeah,
burns
yeah.
off of me. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody else who was more fit, they could do that move and do some extra stuff in
Mm-hmm.
there. So that put more calories on them.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
more calorie burn on them.
Okay. Let's talk about this word fit because some people think fit means skinny. That's not necessarily true, is it?
No, that is not, because you can look at someone who is skinny, but they're actually anorexic. or they have bulimia. And those are diseases where you're actually not eating. You look skinny, but if you notice that they might have sunken in faces, you might see more of their skeletal bones or something like
their
that.
Heart too.
Yes,
Right?
it does. So they're actually sickly people, even though they're technically skinny. So you can't say she's fit or he's fit just because he's skinny.
Okay. Now, somebody told me that you can't just use just one word to define fit. They pointed out that, for example, Luther Vandross was, I guess you'd say, stocky build. I don't know if that's the right word, but he wasn't fat and he wasn't skinny.
Mm-hmm.
He was built like if you're a jazz fan, like Freddie Hubbard. So not fat, but just like a little extra. But when he lost all that weight, when he went on that super diet, whatever that was, they said he didn't look right because they said his normal, if Luther had been fit, he would have been still stocky, but he lost too much weight and wasn't really strong.
Mm-hmm.
So fit depends on the person and their natural build, right?
Right. According to my height, I am supposed to weigh, I think, 155 pounds. I'm 5'9".
Okay.
I don't think 155 pounds would look good on me. I would think
Too
I
much
would
or
be
too
too.
little? That's too much.
I think I'll be too little.
Or too little.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're going by what was established by Caucasians.
Mm-hmm.
Black people tend to carry weight differently.
Mm-hmm.
Hips and buttocks is where we carry our weight.
Mm-hmm.
So it pans out differently.
And the body
for
fat distribution is different too, especially with the men.
Right. Men tend to have more muscle. Women tend to have more fat. So those are factors too. So to put everybody in a standard, you're supposed to weigh this if you're this height or you're this age or whatever, it does not work for everybody. Now, my doctor still wants me to lose another couple of pounds, but but we agreed on a set weight, and he said we will see what you look like at that weight.
Not feel like? Because do most people know when they feel just at the right weight? Is that something that you can actually feel? Because sometimes like for example, again, getting back to Luther, it seemed like everybody agreed that he had lost too much weight and was no longer fit. So is it a look or a feeling?
I think it varies between the individual. I know I feel the size I'm at now. Now, if I ask men, oh, you look fine the way you are. When I was 100 pounds heavier, men said, oh, you look fine the way you are, because my weight was in my hips and my buttocks. So, so they thought I looked fine. And I was like, no, this is not good. So I thought I looked okay, but I knew I needed to lose weight. Men, according to men, I look fabulous. But I know I didn't want to stay at that weight. There are diseases that run in both sides of my family, hypertension and diabetes, and being overweight is a risk factor for both of them. So I knew I had to do something for health reasons. So I think it is how you feel, and how you perceive the whole thing. And again, you would have to talk to a doctor about it, because I think you can, again, like my doctor said, 155 pounds is just too little for you. I thought it was too little for me, and we agreed upon a certain weight.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I guess most of us who, even if we don't have doctors, I guess you can still talk to health professionals at the county health department and nutritionists, and they can probably help you determine where your sweet spot is, so to speak, in terms of being healthy or just a bit too much or too little for your build and your height? Because I know it's not just your height. I know it's your build. Some people are just natural. Like my dad was naturally slim. He was never
Right.
fat. He was always just.
Hmm.
And some people, like my granddad, was built like more like Luther. He was shorter and he was stocky.
Hmm.
And he looked just as healthy as my dad, even though my dad was just like a stick.
Hmm.
He was a strong stick, not just a stick. I mean, he did physical work, but he was
Right.
just naturally thin,
Right.
but still healthy.
Some people have it like that. I have to work.
Uh, so when it comes to your classes, do you only teach line dancing, or do you start out with stretching? Do you do other types of exercises like cardiovascular type, running in place, push-ups, touching your toes, that sort of thing?
I only do line dancing, but what I do with the line dance is I start the class off slow so I
Mm,
can, just gradually bring your heart rate up, and then I speed you up till you
mm,
get your heart rate up, and then I bring you back down just like any other aerobics class.
mm,
And I do a combination of dances, but they're all beginner level. There's
mm.
something I can teach you in a couple of minutes, so your heart rate won't come down, but so much. And the idea is not to have the dance perfected, but just to have it so you can keep moving. Because I tell people,
Okay.
if you can't get the step, just keep moving in place.
Yeah.
If everybody's going to the right, you just go to the right. Even though you might not do the same step, you're
Mm-hmm.
moving to the right. You're going to the right
Exactly.
place.
A lot of people, I'm a DJ, and a lot of times when I'm playing the wobble or something, people are like, "Oh, I don't know that." I'm like, "Well, just move to it. You don't have to, half the people are bumping into each other and crashing off to the side anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
Like you said, as long as you're moving." Now, I got
Right.
to ask you, since you teach line dancing, what is the latest? Because it took 2 years. I had the wobble. I was waiting 2 years before anyone knew what the wobble was. And it frustrated. I'm like, do you all know the wobble yet? They're like, no, no, I don't know that one. Ugh. So what is the newest one that we should look out for?
I think the wobble is still circulating. I
Mm.
think that's probably the most requested one that's out
Okay, yeah.
now. Um, there's another.
I like Miss Jody's thing. That's a good one.
That's a good one. And there's another one called Same Old Two Step. I don't know if you're
I've seen
familiar
that.
with that one. Yes.
Yeah.
That's another one that's requested. And I would say, I don't know, a while back, Vivian Green had a contest to her song,
Mm.
Get Right Back to My Baby. And there were several
Oh,
line
okay.
dances created to her song.
Mm.
That song plays off of a Frankie Beverly song.
Ooh.
I can't think of the name of it right now,
Okay.
but there's a dance that Big Moochie choreographed to Get Right Back to My Baby by Vivian Green, and that
Okay.
one's pretty popular. That version, his
Okay.
dance to that song is pretty popular right now.
See, now that makes me ask, where do these dances come from? I mean, and how do they become official? Is there some kind of committee out there that has a conference and says this will be the next line dance?
No, people just create and they put the videos on YouTube or Facebook or
Mm.
wherever, whatever platform. There's another line dance website called Happy Feet.
Okay.
So
But
they
what if
just
there's more than one version, though?
sometimes that happens. Sometimes the more popular songs, when Blurred Lines came out by Robin
Mm.
Thicke,
Mm-hmm.
there were, I know of at least 8 or 9 different dances to that
Oh
song.
my goodness.
One guy, he was a DJ. He
Mm.
played that song, and it was funny because the dance floor split into like 8 or 9 different versions of that dance
That's
going
amazing.
on to that song. So sometimes people, when they choreograph dances, they try
Mm.
to choose a song that's um not as popular, an obscure something by an obscure band you might not have heard of or something like that. So there won't be 10 versions of a dance to that one song.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Or you reach back and get something kind of retro.
Something retro, something old. A lot of people are bringing the old school 60s and 70s songs back to choreograph to.
Okay. I'm waiting for Shotgun then. That's my jam. Or Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
I don't think there's anything to that.
That does feel the dance floor, but I don't know if you could do a line dance to it.
What's that?
Signed, Sealed, Delivered is a huge floor filler. I mean, people rush out to the floor when they hear that.
Oh, okay. I don't think there's a line dance to that one. I'll have to look.
Okay, that's your job. There you go. Come up with it and come back on TV Skywriter and show us how to do it.
I don't know about that, but
now, I don't want to not promote the expo that you're putting on this coming Saturday. I just want to make sure that we have time for that. So we do have something. It's listed in the Durham Skywriter, durhamskywriter.com on the health page. But I'd like to talk about it now. It's called the Healthy Living Expo. And I want to give a shout out to Mark Lee, because he's the one who told you about me, or vice versa. That's how we connected. Thank you, Mark. So it's going to be this Saturday from 10 until 2 at W.G. Pearson School, 3501 Fayetteville Road.
Right.
So what's going to happen at this Healthy Living Expo?
So I'm co-sponsoring, Party of One is co-sponsoring this Healthy Living Expo with another nonprofit organization, an invitation for transformation. And we decided we wanted to do something together to help our community and have it to be free for everybody who participated. So we know everybody doesn't have access to doctors and healthcare, as you said earlier. So we invited some organizations to do blood pressure checks, glucose screenings, HIV testing, and a couple of other screenings. Walgreens is doing flu shots, and a couple of other things just to get people out, check your health, see how you're doing. If you haven't been to the doctor lately, this is your chance to see some people, see what's going on with you. We'll also have some people doing fitness. We have some one doing Zumba, mindful balance. Yeah, Zumba. We have somebody doing size. Miss Tanisha Davis is doing size. That's what is his name? Oh my God, Sean T's latest thing is size. So she'll be teaching that. That's another type of dance routine.
I never heard of that. Is that like, what kind of music is it to?
It's to contemporary music that's out now also. It's called Size.
I'll look for that on YouTube.
Sean T has his infomercials out. So yeah, that's his latest thing. He's done, I don't know, what's the hip hop abs and all that stuff. So now Size is what he's doing.
Okay.
So, and we'll have some speakers speaking on different topics. We have a Durham Police Department is coming, speaking on domestic violence, and a couple of other organizations. I'll be posting a program on my website, on my Facebook page and things, so people can get a schedule to find out what the sessions will be and what time.
That would be awesome if I can get a hold of that too, because I would like to list that in the Durham Skywriter as well.
Okay.
Because I know you're running your ad in there, and people can click on it and expand it, but I would like to have the whole schedule. That would be awesome.
Okay. I will send it to you.
Okay, appreciate it. So let's list some more names. I have some more names here. Mindful Bodies will be there. Randy Rogers, Dr. Jennifer Pfeiffer, the Durham County Department of Public Health will be there, and Nurse Tracy Bennett will be there. And do you want to say anything about any of those? Because I also have a list of vendors.
Okay. let's see, who did you name? Randy Rogers. He will be speaking on the HIV/AIDS
Hmm.
population. Um,
You
and
know,
a
we
lot of
never hear about that anymore.
no, a lot of people think it's gone away for some reason,
Yeah.
and a lot of people might be being um, not taking appropriate measures that
Hmm.
they need
Hmm.
to um, when they're sexually active. So Randy
Hmm.
is going to bring that to the forefront
Good. Good.
and bring the statistics of what the HIV/AIDS population is really like in Durham.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Now, some of the vendors that I have listed here are also Mindful Bodies is also listed as a vendor. Afro Folk Art by Freedom Clay, Holt Chocolate Collections, Southern Belle Wreaths, The Notebook, Mary Kay Cosmetics, and Walgreens will be giving free flu vaccinations. And what it says here is that they're free, but you have to have your insurance card. But if you're uninsured, of course, it's still free.
Yes, that is
It's
exactly
free.
right.
So, and I think it's really good for the young and the old
It
to
is.
get
We will have
vaccinated.
something for the kids too. We have face painting, and
Oh.
we're going to have a game room set up for them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're worried about, your kids can't come or something like that, yes, they can. Bring your kids and come on down. Everything is free. We'll be
Mm-hmm.
providing snacks also, water and
Oh,
juice.
oh, okay. Okay, well,
So yeah.
you're welcome. Welcome. Now,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. When I was a younger and I would see like videos or shows, whatever, where kids were working out, we would laugh. This is when we were, kids, younger. And
Right.
we would crack up because we'd say, we're kids. All we have to do is go out and play. You don't have to work out. But see, nowadays things are different. And kids are sitting at home all day on their computers, and after school, they're on their computers and smartphones. So, do you think kids should start working? When I say working out, I certainly don't mean weights, but I mean like dancing and exercise. Do you think kids should start doing that now? Even though we
I
laughed
think
about it
so.
earlier?
I think so because, like you said, things have changed now. I remember I'm 45, and I
Mm,
know I used to go out in the summertime and in the morning or early afternoon
hmm.
and come back when the street lights came on,
Exactly.
and we would just be outside playing, riding bikes, playing
Our
basketball,
parents never worried
football.
about us. On Saturday
Right,
morning, Papa said,
right,
go out and play. And we'd hear
right.
the big click as soon as we left the house. And
Mm-hmm.
we drank water out the hose.
Out the spigot.
And we were out, like you said, out on our bikes. And when that first street light came on, that's when we had to be home.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
That's the
I
way
don't
we
think that
grew
would
up.
work nowadays. I don't think parents would go for that nowadays. But in the
Now,
summertime, I don't even know if our parents even, well, they knew we were coming or going,
uh-huh.
but for the most part, excuse me, but for the most part, we were outside playing.
Exactly. So
Excuse me.
kids have none of that anymore. And a lot of schools have now cut out the gym programs because of
What?
budget constraints. So now a lot of schools, a lot of
No
kids are not
gym?
even getting gym. A lot of kids are not getting gym as a
Now
part of the
that's
school curriculum. Whereas, when I
that's
was in school,
crazy.
we had gym every day.
Actually, when I was a
So
kid, now I'm 60 and I'm from Chicago, so you would go to your neighborhood school. We have busing here in
mhm.
Durham, but you go to your neighborhood school. I don't know why my voice is giving way. Sorry, but we would go outside for recess,
Hmm.
morning and afternoon. We went home. Excuse my voice. We went home for lunch, and we played outside all the time. We were
Hmm.
always out. I mean, sure, we were in school, but we knew that at least three times during that day we were going to be outside playing.
Hmm.
But my niece, who also grew up in Chicago, by the time she came along, I think they didn't. Okay, she couldn't go home for lunch. They had what they called a closed campus. She had to eat lunch at school.
Hmm.
They did not have a lunchroom, so they actually sat at their desks and had lunch, which I think sounds
Mm,
horrendous. And I
that
said, well, when you
does.
were done, did they let you go outside and play? And she said, oh, no, of course not. I was like, How do you air out a kid if you can't let them outside? They didn't have. I think they had gym like once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and no recess, no outdoor recess. And I was like,
Yeah.
no wonder everybody's overweight.
Yeah. Even when I came up, we had recess up until elementary school. Once we got to middle school, recess was out, but we had um, gym 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And now my son is 17.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sent him to a charter school, they had gym 5 days a week.
Good.
But the first public school I sent him
Mm-hmm.
to, I think they had it once a week.
I think that
So
might be the
it's
basis to a lot of kids' unhappiness.
mm-hmm.
You gotta air out these kids. You just can't sit them down all week.
I agree. I
You know,
agree.
you gotta
I
move.
mean, even if you don't run around and play, at least you could talk to your friends and
Get your mind
you
off your
know,
work.
right,
And I used to hate it when the teachers would call out the boys and say, "Why don't you be good like the girls?" And I'd say, "Because they're boys." I
right,
mean, how could the teacher not know? Not that girls don't have to run around and jump and play, but you can't sit a boy down. Or maybe you can nowadays, but it's not healthy to just constrain kids like that.
I agree. I agree.
So,
They need more time to play.
yeah. So we only have a couple minutes. I want to make sure that people here locally know about this Healthy Living Expo. It's going to be this coming Saturday, September 10th, from 10 until 2, free
Mm-hmm.
admission at the W.G. Pearson School on Fayetteville Road, 3501. There's going. So tell us what again. What we're going to have. We're going to have Zumba and what else?
We're gonna have Zumba and me teaching line dancing.
Yes.
And we're going to have Size. It's spelled Cize.
Oh, the
That is
C. Thank
Sean
you.
T's new program, and
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha Davis will be teaching that. We will also have an aerobics instructor coming in. His name is Alan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also have different speakers coming,
Mm-hmm.
speaking on different topics from HIV to domestic violence, um, nutrition, smoking
Mm-hmm.
cessation, if you want
Okay.
to stop smoking, um, just different topics to keep yourself healthy. We'll also have different screenings,
Mm-hmm.
HIV testing, get your blood pressure checked, flu shots, weight,
Mm-hmm.
uh, glucose pre-screening, as the Durham Health Department is going to be there, the American Diabetes Association,
Oh, okay.
Durham Fire Department is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Meals on
This
Wheels will be there.
awesome. This is going to be a big
Um,
event.
yeah, we're hoping for a big old turnout.
And this is the
Um,
first annual, right?
First annual. We are hoping to have it every year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've really been advertising, so come on down, please.
Awesome. And I'm sure they will. I will continue to promote it. And I will actually list your website in the credits of the show because we only have a couple seconds left. So I just want to thank you so much, Malinda Evans, for being on the show
Thank
from
you so
Party
much
of
for.
One. And it's partyof1.org, right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
But you spell out the one.
One, number one.
Oh, numeral one.
Mm-hmm.
Partyof1.org.
On the website. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, folks, for watching. Now, for those of you in the audience, we can definitely hang out. But for those of you who are watching this on TV or YouTube, I will tell you goodbye for now. And be sure to read Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, the Durham Skywriter, at durhamskywriter.com. Thanks again, Malinda Evans.
Thank
And
you.
absolutely. Have a beautiful day, folks. Ciao for now.